Welcome to the information session for the Senior Leaders Program for Nonprofit Professionals. We will call it SLP for short. My name is Lan To. I am the Associate Director for Programs and Social Enterprise, and I'm here with my colleague, Karen.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining.
So we are going to give you some information today about our Senior Leaders Program for 2021. We have revamped it so that it would fit a virtual learning experience. And we're going to share with you a little bit about the type of applicant that usually is admitted into this program, the format for this year's virtual learning experience, the content that's going to be taught, and then we'll also talk about the admissions process, which will include a little bit about tuition, financial aid, and really key deadlines for everyone to keep in mind. There is a Q&A box as part of this webinar, and we invite you to please ask your questions as I am going through this information. Karen is going to monitor that Q&A box and answer as many as she can, but we will also be dedicating a specific amount of time at the end to make sure that we do answer the questions that are submitted in that box. So please do use that box. So let's begin. Let's talk a little bit about who usually gets admitted into the Senior Leaders Program. We are designed this program for individuals who have senior roles with mission-wide responsibility. So if you think about whether you're responsible for the mission and strategy of your organization, or if you're a member of the organization's senior leadership team, and that role fits in with either of those answers being yes, then you're probably a good fit for this program. Because you want to think about what you do at your organization and what role you have to influence, drive, or change, and if you feel that your role impacts that direction, its staff, the future of your agency, then you're going to be with other people in the room who have similar experiences, and that commonality really enhances the experience of the program as a senior level leadership program. So we pay close attention to how we want to build that cohort in order to kind of enhance that experience for everyone in the room. Here are some of the positions that have been representative in SLP in the past. The majority of people who have attended are usually executive directors, followed by chief operating officers, financial officers, senior directors, program directors, and then associates. But something that's important to note is that we aren't fixed on title. This list of titles that you see here isn't exclusive. The key thing to keep in mind is that you should have a seat at the table when there are strategic conversations happening, and you have some level of impact in terms of what the current and future state of your organization will be. This is why your personal statement in your application becomes really important, especially if you think you have a unique title. We pay very close attention to that statement and how you see your role now, in the future, and how this program might help you in that career trajectory. And if you're not sure if your role fits in, just email me and we can find a time to talk through it together. Now, if you feel that you don't fit these roles, or this degree of organizational responsibility, you might want to consider our Developing Leaders Program for Nonprofit Professionals. This is our sister version of this program for our emerging leaders of nonprofits. You may not have the overall strategic responsibility for your organization, but you're noted as someone who has impact and has potential for even more impact. So DLP would be a really great fit for someone with that type of characteristic. DLP this year is also live online. It's a 2-week online program versus SLP's 4-week modules. The program is scheduled to have a week in May and another in June, and the application process is open now and will close in April. Something for you to consider. If you qualify for SLP, you can't commit the time because the difference between 2 weeks and 4 weeks can be massive, then we have had executive directors in the past apply for the Developing Leaders Program, and they've been able to participate fully because of the 2-week time frame versus the 4-week time frame. So that's something to consider as well. Another consideration in terms of whether you want to apply for SLP is just thinking about your capacity. You want to make sure SLP meets both your needs personally, professionally, and organizationally. And at the same time, you want to be able to have the capacity to actually participate in a program like this. Essentially, given all of your circumstances, are you able to complete the program requirements and manage the schedule? And like I said, this year's experience is going to be online. And so we have a few different things that we have to juggle in this particular format, and we know that you do too. So besides thinking about whether this is the right time for you to incorporate a course of study into your life, and whether your organization is going to support your time away from your responsibilities in order for you to complete and focus on the program, you want to be able to think about your personal capacity to be able to participate in four week-long modules over 4 months, plus the intersession days in between. You want to be able to be away from your organizational responsibilities for those 4-week modules. You want to be able to participate fully in the peer learning activities that could happen in between each module, and be prepared to go back to school. This is graduate level assignments and readings. And given our virtual learning environment, you want to be able to focus and manage remote learning. And we know that we have partners, friends, roommates, pets, etc., who might be in class with us at any given time, and that's something that we accept as a reality. And you want to think about your ability to still be able to focus and participate, given those unique realities that each of us are managing right now. Here are some of the things we've learned this past year. We've been able to transition a number of our in-person programs to an online format, and still maintain the level of community and connection that most of these intense leadership programs have. And some of the best practices that we've learned is to just remind people that it's still a professional learning environment. So it's not a session where it would behoove you to show up in your PJs. You want to be prepared, right? Because your cameras are going to be on. It's something that our faculty have requested. They believe and research supports that it contributes to engagement as well as psychological safety for everyone in the room. You want to be able to arrive on time. So this has been a little bit easier this year for most people because you don't have to commute. So a class begins at 9. And we want you to be able to use your computers and not your phones. This is going to be a very interactive experience with our faculty during each week. So being familiar with the Zoom platform and being able to participate by using the mic, raising your hands virtually, chatting respectfully, are all going to be important online skills. The other piece is that, there will be assignments, and the assignments need to be completed on time. And overall, just communicate, have fun. And if there's something you need to do in order to engage in the virtual learning environment, please don't hesitate to ask so that you can take care of yourself as well as us supporting you in your learning. So those are just some of the online transitions to be aware of. So what does it look like? So this is how we've translated it to an online format. We have 4 modules, and each module has an intersession day, meaning a day that is not part of the week that we meet beforehand, and then the full week. So orientation will begin on March 1st, and then the session week begins March 8th to the 12th. And then after that, we have another intersession day that begins module 2, which is March 19th, and then a session week, April 19th to the 23rd. Module 3 follows in April with the session week in May, and then our final days will end in June. The general schedule for each of these days is 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And we encourage you to arrive a little bit early, around 8:55, in order to be prepared to engage and tech check. And then we usually promptly end by 1 p.m. So that is the general schedule. And in terms of content, because it's still a 4-week module, similar to our in-person program, it will still maintain a number of the Columbia Business School curriculum from our MBA program. And what you're seeing now is just some of the topics that we will cover this year, and they span management, leadership, strategy, finance, and social enterprise. And these are all deemed as pillars of running a really good business. And that's true no matter what sector you are representing. And of course, since this is social enterprise and nonprofits, being able to apply this within the lens of your work as nonprofit leaders is one of the key ingredients that makes SLP a special experience for nonprofit executives. The faculty teach these concepts are mostly from the management division of the business school, but we also pull from other university colleges and schools across Columbia, including psychology, Teachers College, and the School of International and Public Affairs. We've invited a handful of practitioners with years of expertise in both their fields, as well as their ability to mentor and teach others. And in addition to the faculty, we place a very strong emphasis on peer learning. We're fully aware that even though we have some world-renowned experts and faculty in their fields, there is a tremendous amount of expertise in the room within the SLP cohort. These are individuals who have been leading their organizations for years, if not decades, and have been entrusted with mission-critical responsibilities in human services, the arts, justice, and initiatives. And they know, and you know a lot, and we want to be able to tap into that. We want to provide the forum and the opportunity to share best practices, common challenges, and resources, especially given the experience we've had this past year. So we suspect that this particular cohort of SLP for 2021 is going to be extremely unique in terms of the innovative learning that we are going to be sharing based on the challenges and opportunities that were presented because of the experiences from 2020. So there are assignments. I told you you will be going back to school and you should be prepared. So what are these assignments? There will be faculty readings, reflections, assessments, and usually it is advised that you complete them between modules so that you are prepared for the week when you arrive. There are 3 key assignments that each individual needs to complete. Their 360 assessment, the leadership credo, and the organizational impact plan. And both of these experiences in terms of assignments lead to very specific outcomes in order for you to benefit from the leadership development framework that we have designed. So let's talk a little bit about these 3 key assignments that everyone has to complete, right? So we have the organizational impact plan. We shorten it to an OIP. It's your project-based learning experience and one of our most beneficial peer learning structures. The OIP is your opportunity to focus on something you want to do for your organization or your cause or your team within the time frame of the 4 months of SLP. And each participant is asked to choose a short-term project that they will implement within these 4 months, and they're going to receive feedback from their peers on your plan, and we're going to guide you through that feedback process. And by the end of it, you'll be able to kind of think through your challenge in a lot of different perspectives based on the peer learning process. You could think of this as a personal case or a current leadership management opportunity or challenge that you're facing right now, maybe something that happened in the past that seems to be recurring, something that would benefit from external objective analysis and coaching from peers who may have different perspectives. And as part of your pre-program work, you'll be thinking of a topic before you arrive in March, and we'll help you think through what that appropriate topic could be. And something to remember is that your peers are like you. They're very senior, very experienced, very generous individuals who are analyzing your case, providing resources and connections in their networks that might be outside of your case, and you'll be visiting with them each week as the program continues. The 360 assessment. Some of you may be familiar with the 360 assessment. It's a common and well-known leadership assessment survey, and whether you've done one before or not, the 360 provides insight into your behavior in this moment as a leader by collecting data from those you work with, those who work for you, and those who you work for. It's if you've never done one, you're either in for a treat or a shock. So, and given this past year, even if you have done one, it might be enlightening to see how the data might be different. If you've done one before, then you probably know how valuable the experience can be to get this kind of this kind of insight. You may be new to your organization, or you have new team members or board members that you can add to your 360 surveys that you hadn't had before. So the basic process for your 360 is that you complete your survey and you invite your supervisor, board members, peers, direct reports to complete the same survey. The results are compiled into a report. You'll receive that report during the program. And then once you receive it, each participant receives an individualized executive coaching session. And the executive coaching session will help guide you through thinking about your report and what your next steps could be. Finally, our last key assignment is the leadership credo. And the leadership credo is essentially, by the end of the program, you'll be able to be in a space where you can really form a powerful message about who you are as a leader and how you choose to lead. And it's a form of a speech that makes a statement as to your vision, your hope, and who you are as a leader. It's meant to be delivered to a very specific audience for a specific purpose. And we'll walk through the public speaking aspects, the delivery aspects, the writing aspects of this particular assignment. You'll notice that none of our main assignments are abstract or theoretical exercises. Past participants have been able to use their credos at staff meetings to set the tone for the coming year, or a new initiative, or a crisis situation. So some have delivered them at annual benefits to draw in donors or re-engage existing donors, motivating them to give to a specific cause or to support the organization's vision or mission. There have been a variety of objectives for the credos, from motivating teams to acknowledging the challenges that we're currently experiencing and the challenges we might be facing ahead, and how we want to innovate. By the end of the credo experience, you'll have this very useful leadership message that you can deliver with authority and confidence that'll maximize your intended impact. So you'll get coaching on that, and work with one of our expert faculty whose research is around communication styles. Okay, so let's talk about the primary outcomes. So as the program ends, we hope that your journey leads you into developing your integrated leadership framework. So your ability to lead yourself, lead others, lead the organization. It's one of the key outcomes that each participant thinks about, and each participant gains through their journey with the senior leadership program. And overall, besides this level of growth in these areas as individual leaders, the larger aspect of being able to be connected to a robust network of other nonprofit leaders is a result of being in a program like this. Building these aspects of your leadership capacity, helps us to achieve our objective in social enterprise in terms of creating a program like this. We invest in strengthening the management and business lens of nonprofit leaders in order to strengthen organizations and their ability to execute their missions. And it's so important to connect these leaders to each other. We say a lot that, leadership at the top can be very lonely. And one of the benefits of having a program like this is that you have some peers who can become sounding boards for a lifetime of connections. And so being able to have that really allows us to help the sector advance and enhance the positive social impact for which the nonprofit sector was created. We understand that helping you run a better business, a better nonprofit business, means that we as a larger community have a better chance to make a positive exponential impact in the world. And our department is certainly committed to the business of changing lives. Here is a representation of some of the areas within the nonprofit sector that have come through our programs. And some of the organizations that have come through the program. When you complete the program, you become a part of this Alumni Network, and we have events. One day, when we all gather in person again, we will have events that look like this. But right now, we still have events that occur virtually that our alumni can participate in. Each participant at the end of the program receives the Certificate in Business Excellence, which comes with a number of benefits, including a 25% tuition benefit for future courses in exec ed. And yeah, let's talk a little bit about how to be admitted into this program. So you want to apply online. Everything is online. Our information, our brochure, the dates, it's all online. So you start there first. Some helpful things to keep in mind as you prepare to complete your application. You want to provide your most up-to-date resume. You want to be able to spend a good deal of time on your personal statement. We put a great deal of emphasis on what's in the personal statement. And you want to have your resume and your organization's 990 form ready to upload. If you think your organization or you're in a role in a position that needs financial assistance, tuition assistance is based on your 990 form. It's up to 50% aid depending on your organization's operating budget, and the max. And there are also discounts if you are an alum of, if you know an alum of the business school, or you are an alum of the business school, you can receive a 25% discount. And our foundation partners have also given us certain scholarships. And you could be eligible for one of these scholarships if you're a grantee of Clark or Pinkerton, Robin Hood, and they make that decision as to who gets those scholarships. So you have to apply first, and once you're admitted, we send that list of names to the foundations, and they decide who will be granted additional tuition funds. And then finally, the timeline. So you have until February 12th to apply, and we will notify you of admissions decisions and any tuition aid or scholarships by February 22nd. You need to confirm your enrollment by the 21st and pay your full tuition balance by the 26th. And then March 1st begins orientation and the pre-program work. So that is the timeline to keep in mind. And I think that's most of the information. So I will ask Karen to hop back on and let me know if there are any questions. And please feel free to add questions now.
Yes, we've received a couple of great questions regarding content. One of the questions is, what opportunities have you built in to allow the cohort to build a sense of community and network?
That's a great question. It's something that we're very intentional about, and I feel like we've been able to successfully learn and grow in this past year. So there are, if you've been in a Zoom room before, there are opportunities for breakouts. But that in and of itself, without some sort of guided connection or community building activity, doesn't engender the type of learning environment that we like to build. And so we're very, we have a curriculum to help build connection between participants. Each morning we connect, and each afternoon we connect. And all of the faculty sessions are fairly interactive. So you should be prepared to be in small groups during the faculty sessions. And we also have a virtual networking space each week so that you can connect virtually with anyone within the cohort.
Thanks, Lon. Also, we've got another one regarding the pandemic. Will there be a current research data on the effects of the pandemic and how lead to post-pandemic?
Yeah, I can't answer that myself. I know that all of our faculty are working on their topics and incorporating the experiences from this year, and we work closely with them to ensure that that their content is reflective of the most current and relevant experiences and information for the nonprofit sector. So I certainly hope so, and so far it has proven so in our other online sessions.
Thanks, Lon. Another question is, can a cohort join from Asia?
Absolutely. One of the benefits of being in an online program is that you can join from anywhere. The reality for anyone joining globally is that we operate on Eastern Standard Time. So if you're joining in from Asia, I guess we'll see you early in the night while we are all waking up in the morning. So as long as you are prepared for that, you are certainly welcome.
Another question that might help the cohort this session is, can you help me understand how much work is done while in the course versus how much homework done outside of those hours?
Mm-hmm. I would say, there are probably at least 1 to 2 case studies or readings that you will need to do before each week. And besides that, there might be some assignments in terms of reflection on your organizational impact plan that you need to have prepared before your intersession date. Those are the typical assignments that need to be completed. So roughly, depending on how you work and how you learn, it could be 3 to 4 hours of work outside of class.
Thank you, Lon. One other question that's come in a couple of times is how many individuals participate per cohort?
Yeah, that's a great question. With the online environment, we could have as many as 55 or more, but we like to build the cohort size between 35 and 45, because that builds the intimacy that we find is successful for an experience like this.
And I think we have one more time for one more question. What the question came in, and how do I find out if my organization has access to scholarship funds available to offset the tuition?
Right. So if your organization is a grantee of Pinkerton or Clark or Robin Hood, then that's how we know if you will be eligible for one of their scholarships. And then other than that, once you submit your 990 form, we will be able to kind of look from there in terms of what other tuition aid you might be eligible for.
Thanks, Lon. And I would just say, if you have any other questions, we're running kind of low. We're running out of time, so feel free to email myself or Lon, and we'll also follow up with the recording of this session.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining us, and please don't hesitate to reach out. We hope to see you in SLP 2021 in March.